Welcome to Capsized, a Silver Lake podcast talking about weekly school-wide updates, hosted by
Connor,
Cass,
and Messina. Thank you, Silver Lake Library and community, for making this possible. We couldn't have done it without Miss Matthias. Today on podcast, we have Senora Drew. She is a language teacher here at Silver Lake. She's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to do an interview. So let's dive into that.
Hello.
hello.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So what do you teach at Silver Lake?
So this year I teach Spanish 1, 2, and 3, fully remote at this point. Well, until next week anyway, or 2 weeks from now. But usually I teach some combination of Spanish 1, 2, and 3.
Sounds fun.
We try to make it fun and interesting.
So what's it like teaching remote?
It's been a challenge this year. I think I've been very fortunate. My wife and I had our daughter Ava in May of last year, and so with her being so young, it's been I've been really fortunate to be remote and to be able to keep her a little bit safer at the moment. But with things starting to open up again, I'm actually really looking forward to being back in person. Remote teaching has been a challenge. This is my 10th year teaching, but it feels like my first year all over again. Just getting kids engaged and keeping them interested in class and things like that when I'm not actually with them. It's a little bit harder to check in and kind of see how kids are doing. And it's been weird to not see you guys face to face every day, and see my colleagues and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's really been about adapting, and trying new things that I might not have tried. I wanted to try, but didn't. And things like that. And to be honest, that my students have been amazing. They've been so great. They've, been flexible when technology doesn't work. They've been flexible when, situations come up and we can't do the activity I thought we were going to be able to do. They've been using their voice in class a lot to talk about what's working for them and what's not. And so I think that, remote Spanish this year has been as successful as it has been because of the students and the thought that they're putting in and the effort that they're putting in. So it's definitely been a challenge, and I'm looking forward to being back in the building. But my students really have done a fantastic job this year, and they really made my job easier than it would have been otherwise. So a big shout out to them.
Yeah, remote learning is I'm not full remote because I'm half remote. I'm at the hybrid, but I don't know. It's so the technology never works, I swear.
Yeah.
I mean, if the technology worked, it'd be so much easier. It'd just be less stressful.
Yeah, for sure. And it's tough too. It's just it's a whole new environment. I mean, we got used to teaching and going to school in the way that we had been forever, and then all of a sudden it kind of flipped on its head and we had to adapt and change things really quickly. And it's definitely been a learning curve for sure.
Is it let's see, sorry. Is there anything you've liked about remote teaching more than teaching in the classroom?
To be honest, I've been a lot more productive at home, which I thought might be a challenge in the beginning. I thought I wouldn't be able to, to really focus when I had other things that were going on here. But I found that having my own space, where I could really kind of close things off and just be by myself has really helped to allow me to be super productive and work during times when I might have otherwise been a bit distracted by chatting with my colleagues or catching up with students and things like that. And so having that dedicated space and having, I've shared a classroom all of my years at Silver Lake, which is great, but it also means that you're sharing that space with somebody else. And so it's been nice to just have just that quiet place where I can kind of put some music on in the background and just get to work. But like I said, it's also been a bit lonely in that same vein. And so I'm looking forward to being back in the building and seeing everybody for sure.
So you're coming back as well?
Yes. Yeah. So from May the 3rd, when we start term 4, I'm actually going to have a mix of remote classes and in-person classes. And so that'll be a little bit new because typically my kids are used to they can see my face, right? Because I don't have to wear my mask at home. But I'll be in the building teaching those remote classes, which I know, a lot of teachers are doing. And so my kids they'll start only seeing half of my face instead of my whole face. And then I'll have some classes that are fully in person as well.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like we do like mass breaks when we're in school, and like teachers like that's what you look like because they
Yeah.
have students with their masks always on.
Yeah. Well, I keep joking with my kids because a lot of them they prefer not to have their video on, and so I've kind of given them that choice throughout the year. And sometimes we do activities where they have to have them on, but typically, as long as they're kind of responding in the chat or participating in the pair deck or whatever we're doing, I don't make them turn their videos on. But I told the kids the other day, I was like, when I see you in the hallway, like I might not know what you look like because I only know what your profile picture is. If you're like, oh yeah, my profile picture was, that guy from the Celtics, I'd be like, oh right, yeah, I know who you are. But like a lot of my kids, I'm not gonna know their face if they just walk up to me in the hallway, which is probably one of my least favorite things. But we'll see what happens, I guess.
It's gonna be a fun time going back.
Yeah, I think so. How are you feeling about going back full time?
Good. I got my schedule. I have no changes except like the period like times are different.
Okay.
It's like my period one's like not my period one anymore, which
yeah,
it's fine. I have the same teachers, so it's I don't know if I have the same kids, but
that's great. That's great. Shout out to Guidance. They've been working really hard to get that done. So that's great.
They did it really fast too.
Yeah.
And there's still obviously changes that might happen, but for right now I have all the same teachers and the same.
That's great. Good. I hope it stays that way for you.
Yeah, me too. And then what else? Oh, a question we always ask on the podcast. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I think teleportation. I love to travel. And my wife's family lives in England, and so we do a lot of pre-COVID we were doing a lot of trips to England, and my family's in Pennsylvania, and I would love to skip the 7-hour flight to the UK, or the 7-hour drive to Philly, and just like teleport and be there. That would be amazing. So I think, and there are so many places around the globe that I would love to be able to go see. So if I could teleport, I think that would definitely be my go-to superpower.
That's what we've heard. I said to be just like fast.
Yeah.
Like super speed, because it's almost the same thing. I could get there.
Yeah.
It'd be easier to teleport, but I think it'd be more fun to run.
But if you were fast, then you get your exercise in too. So I might steal yours. I might borrow that.
Right? You just go anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Easy. Do you have any pets?
I don't. You know what? When I was younger, when I was really young, we had a cat. And then we had a dog when I got a little bit older. And I had turtles for a while. I had 2 red-eared slider turtles. But I don't have one now. I think so with Dr. Drew and I working full time, and now having our daughter who's going to be 1 really soon. I don't know if I could add like another thing on right now. But I think one day we'll probably have a pet of some sort. But as of right now, we don't have any.
Yeah, I have 3 dogs. I don't know why to think of that. I didn't. I just paused. I think.
What kind of dogs are they?
I have toy schnauzers. I have 3 of them.
Okay, cool.
Really small and chaotic.
Yeah.
But
oh, very cool.
Small dogs are something else.
Yeah. I think if we got a dog, it would probably be a smaller type of dog. I don't really know a lot about dogs, but I think we would probably get a small one too.
They're the best. They're easy.
I want one that's like that can cuddle me but not smush me. That's kind of how I feel about it.
That's exactly what our dogs are. They're just cuddles. The perfect dog.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, anytime. Thank you for having me. This was great.
No problem.
Thank you, Ms. Drew, for being on the podcast today. Very, very, very fun, very interesting, and especially doing this remote, talking about going remote and recording this remote. This is very fun. So thank you for being part of the podcast.